giant in the sun, rich in human and natural resources, a land of cultural diversity for tourists' appreciation. Nigeria occupies
NTA International News.
President Buhari proceeds on 10 days annual vacation. Federal high-power delegation visits Borno State to commiserate with the government and people over the accidental bombing of an IDP camp.
I, Adam Barrow, do swear.
Adama Barrow takes oath of office as new president of the Gambia. Hello there and a warm welcome to NTA International News at this time. My name is Justin Bemunye. It's glad to have you join us. We begin from the Gambia, where Adama Barrow, winner of the December 1st presidential election, has taken oath of office as the president of the Gambia. He was sworn in at the Gambian embassy in Dakar, Senegal.
I, Adam Barrow,
do swear
that I will
well and truly
execute the functions of the office
execute the function of the office
of the President of the Republic of the Gambia,
of the office of the President of the Republic of the Gambia,
that I will preserve and defend the Constitution,
but I will preserve and defend the Constitution,
and that I will do right
then I will do right
to all manner of people
to all manner of people
according to law,
according to law, without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So help me God.
He promised to return the Gambia to the Committee of Nations.
For hosting hospitality accorded to me and my delegation at the request of ECOWAS chair. This is what it means to be part of a community of democratic nations.
February 1965, he is a member of the United Democratic Party. And back here in the country, the Nigerian Air Force has described as tragic and regrettable the accidental airstrike by one of its fighter jets on Ran village in Kalabalge area of Borno State on Tuesday. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, assured that investigations are on to unravel the cause of such unwarranted collateral damage. Defense correspondent Isaac Nkuma reports that this was in an interview after a briefing with the Air Force contingent deployed to the Gambia.
The news filtered in and made headlines on most of the dailies, just as it trended on social media platforms. The Nigerian Air Force is saddened by the incident, in which some innocent lives were lost. The loss occasioned by the unfortunate airstrike, the Chief of Air Staff says, is deeply regretted.
We have been operating in the Northeast for about 8 years now. We have flown close to 6,000 hours. This is the first time we are having this tragedy. Sometimes it does happen in war. I want to say that we share in the pains and sorrows of the families that have lost loved ones. We want to also sympathize with those that are wounded. We have directed the Chief of Medical Services to provide our medical facility in Maiduguri to the wounded so that they can also be treated. We have also, about this time, we are putting up a high-powered committee at the Air Force level. I know the theater commander is also working hard to find out what really happened. I want to assure you that as a professional service, we'll continue to evaluate our processes and procedures so that we can be effective in dealing with those that are out to kill human beings.
Meanwhile, about 200 officers and men, including 22-member combat support crew of the Nigerian Air Force, has been deployed to the Gambia via Senegal as a standby force in the event of President Yahya Jammeh's refusal to hand over power on Thursday. The troops' deployment at the 117 Air Combat Training Group, Kainji, Niger State, comes with the deployment of air assets including fighter jets, intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance, as well as heavy lift transport aircrafts and light utility helicopters.
What we have here are men that are highly trained, highly skilled, and they know their job, they know the task, they have a commander who will guide them. We don't want to start speculating on what has been deployed or what has not been deployed, but as a professional service, I believe that the commander of the air assets will work together with other commanders and they will come up with what is required in terms of plans to be able to execute their task and come back home.
In the turn of events, their mission is to enforce the December 1 election result in the Gambia, as well as ensure law and order in that country. As they take off, touchdown will be in Dakar, Senegal, where they will join other troops who will be partaking in the mission. Nigeria, Ghana and Senegal are the contributing countries to this mission. From Kainji, Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a high-powered federal government delegation led by the Chief of Staff to the President, Abakari, has visited Borno State to condole the people and government of the state over the accidental bombing of an IDP camp. Anthony Forsen reports.
The federal government delegation had the Minister of Defense, Mansour Dan Ali, Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Air Staff, and other top military officers. At the State Government House in Maiduguri, the Chief of Staff to the President told the Governor that the federal government is deeply touched by the incident, which he described as unfortunate.
The President deeply regrets this incident and is sure that all Nigerians will join him in condoling the families of those who lost their lives, and that the government of the Federation of Nigeria and the Borno State government will do all they can to treat those injured, and the armed forces will take extra care that this kind of disaster does not happen again.
Responding, Governor Kashim Shettima said Borno State is honored by the show of concern by the federal government and the military, their determination to return Borno back to its former state.
We are most grateful to the federal government for the support. And for us in Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe, we do not enjoy the luxury. We can't enjoy the luxury of insulting the federal government or President Muhammadu Buhari, because we were facing real existential threats. 3 years ago, Maiduguri was effectively encircled. You can't go beyond Ngom along Maiduguri-Dikwa Road.
At the Shehu of Dikwa's palace, the delegation told the traditional ruler that President Muhammadu Buhari has directed that the military must ensure that they exhibit a high sense of caution during operations. The Shehu of Dikwa, Shehu Mohammed El Kanami II, expressed appreciation to the federal government, saying their visit has rekindled their hope in the federal government and they will remain indebted. The delegation also visited the office of the United Nations Humanitarian Agency, where they expressed sadness over the incident. The Abakari-led federal government delegation was at the Maiduguri Specialist Hospital, where the injured are being treated. Anthony Forsen, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has left Abuja for London, United Kingdom, on leave as part of his annual vacation. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari's vacation has already been communicated to the National Assembly in line with Section 145, Subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. But before his departure at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, the President held a closed-door meeting with the service chiefs led by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Gabriel Abayomi Olonishakin.
The meeting was to give Mr. President updates on our operations within and outside the country. Especially our involvement in ECOWAS Standby Force that is being inducted into the Senegal, so that in issue of their mandate for ensuring that the president-elect of the Gambia is sworn in.
What is operational mandate in Gambia, sir?
The operational mandate in Gambia is in line with the decision of the heads of government, head of state and government of the ECOWAS region. Decided that the ECOWAS standby force should be put in place to ensure that the decision of the people of the Gambia is respected.
He didn't give any further directives to you?
To me, as the head of the military, is to ensure that everything is in order, that's all. And to make sure that the situation is handled appropriately.
While in the United Kingdom, President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to undergo routine medical checkups, on which he told NTA News that there's absolutely nothing to worry about.
What's wrong with going on vacation? Didn't I go last year at the same time?
Presidential spokesman Femi Adesina corroborated this.
Well, the president is going to rest. You know that God did the work of creation for 6 days, and on the 7th day, he rested. So if God needed to rest, how much more human beings? So the president is just going to rest. And the statement we have released is straightforward. He will go on this leave, and during the leave, he will do routine medical checkups.
So is there anything to worry about?
No, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. But we need to show goodwill towards our leaders, particularly President Muhammadu Buhari, who is working to give Nigeria a new footing, a new orientation. Nothing absolutely to worry about, but a lot of goodwill, a lot of prayers are necessary at all times.
The president, who was seen off at the airport by the Minister of FCT, Muhammad Musa Bello, Justice Minister Abubakar Malami, his Chief of Staff Abba Kyari, and the service chiefs, is expected to resume work on the 6th of next month. Before then, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo performs the functions of the Office of the President. In Abuja, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says Nigerians will witness a radical improvement in electricity supply within the next 18 months in view of the priority placed on redressing the challenge of power in Buhari administration. The Vice President said this during a panel discussion on building Africa at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Finance and economic correspondent Cliff Ayoze reports.
Davos, a Swiss city with temperature at minus 16 degrees, a sharp contrast to what obtains in Africa. It, however, provided appropriate platform for regional and global business and political leaders to interface at the World Economic Forum. Speaking on building Africa, the place of infrastructure and industrialization, Vice President Osinbajo says Nigeria's strategic economic recovery and growth plan has set machinery in motion to boosting power supply in the country and creating enabling environment for investors.
We have moved from 5,000 carrying capacity to a minimum simulation of about 6,500 megawatts of power carrying capacity. And by the end of the year, something in the order of about 7,200 megawatts of carrying capacity. As of February 2016, we had actually moved up to 5,000 megawatts of power generation.
On the issue of regional integration and trade, Nigeria's Vice President believes progress has been made, while the President of Rwanda believes a lot needs to be done.
Political will is quite well expressed in some of what is going on already within ECOWAS. The CET arrangements, for example, the economic arrangements going on, and a lot of cooperation between West African countries.
Everyone's intention is to see Africa move forward, develop fast, and so there is a contradiction in a sense in our quest for prosperity, for development, and at the same time, some of the very things we know we can do and have to do in order for things to happen.
Towards fast-tracking infrastructure development and bridging the inequality gap in Africa, public-private partnership was described as key.
As business and world leaders converge on Davos to discuss issues of interest to their respective countries, it presents an opportunity to network and reach agreements on the size of this very forum that takes place every year. From Davos, in Switzerland, Cliff Ayoze, NTA News.
And if you're just joining us, this is NTA International News from Nigeria's capital city of Abuja. The news will continue in just a moment after the break. Please don't go away.
Hear the call of change. Stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. So let the change begin from within. Look at you, Ogeruola. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me. Change begins with
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
Thank you for always being there with NTA International News. Minister of State Aviation Hadi Sirika says the federal government has addressed more than 95% of the foreign affairs concern on the proposed closure of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport and the use of Kaduna Airport as an alternative for the 6 weeks period beginning from March 8. The minister stated this while addressing representatives of foreign airline operating in Nigeria who visited him to express their concern about the closure of the Abuja airport. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Concerns raised by the foreign carriers include whether the Kaduna airport has a perimeter fence, ability to accommodate a sizable number of aircrafts, and other issues bordering on communication and catering services, number of boarding gates, tracking of passengers' luggage in the event of missing, availability of aviation fuel, and the capacity of various government agencies to move down to Kaduna to ensure seamless operations. Minister of State for Aviation Hadi Sirika says the issues raised by the airlines are being tackled. He adds that government will continue to meet with stakeholders to further address all concerns. Hadi Sirika explains that the Kaduna airport has a perimeter fence, including a team of security personnel being put in place to monitor the area. On aviation fuel, Sirika says there is a huge reservoir of the product in Kaduna. While enjoining the airlines to be partners in developing aviation industry in Nigeria, the minister restated government's commitment to making flying into Kaduna as alternate airport safe, secured and comfortable. Speaking on behalf of representatives of the airlines, Ziad Koz Latik expressed happiness with government's handling of the process. He adds that foreign airlines will soon go on inspection of Kaduna Airport to confirm its readiness for operation during the closure. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The wife of the president, Aisha Muhammad Buhari, has hosted the co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Mrs. Melinda Gates, on an advocacy of improving lives of women and children in Nigeria. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir has details.
It was in September 2016, the wife of the president met with the co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in New York as part of her advocacy initiative and health promotion of women and children in Nigeria. This meeting provided a platform to continue with the earlier discussion in an effort to promoting issues relating to the health and welfare of women and children. Areas in focus include maternal, newborn, child and adolescent health, malnutrition, and girl-child education. Mrs. Buhari told Melinda Gates that since inception of this administration, Future Assured has touched the lives of women and children across the length and breadth of this country.
I want to sincerely thank you and your husband for the enormous program being implemented by your foundation in an effort to make the world a better place. I'm confident that your commitment and continued support to our country will bring the needed change required to improve the status of women and children in Nigeria.
What you're doing with the Future Assured program is really showing the way, showing the difference. Every one of those lives that you see who are touched by one of these programs, it really does change their lives. And I've come to believe so strongly in the power of women and girls, because if we empower a young girl, she becomes a woman later.
The Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewole, Chairman, Senate Committee on Health, Larry Tojoshu, the governor's wives, and other speakers who described the meeting as fruitful, promised to remain steadfast in supporting the wife of the president in improving the health status of women and children in Nigeria. The wife of the president reaffirmed her commitment to continue to mobilize resources and support from across the globe in an effort to improve the lives of women and children in Nigeria. From the State House, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
The Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, is set to take the lead in showcasing to the world research works of participants of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, KURU, for solution to some of the challenges facing the nation. This was the outcome of the meeting between members of the alumni of the Institute and the management of NTA. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports.
1,000 policy research papers have been commendably generated.
President of the group, Major General Lawrence Onoja, said the Institute over the years has generated a lot of research findings that are capable of providing solutions to some of the challenges facing the country. He said the group is committed and identified with the federal government in its quest to reposition the country.
Call on the government that there are some of these are social issues, problems that we have. If they go to KURU, they look inwards and go to KURU, the answers are there. They don't need to go and hire people from outside. All the research papers contain answers, strategies for ensuring that we come to solutions about this problem.
The Executive Director News, Shola Atere, who received the group on behalf of the Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ebon Mohammed, said the two organizations have as their mandates ensuring a better Nigeria.
We don't have any other country. We have to put our heads together and make sure that our country continue to grow in leaps and bounds, to become the envy of other countries. So you can be rest assured that we'll continue to support you and collaborate with you.
The NIPS alumni, among other objectives, interact with the federal, state, and local governments, organizations towards ensuring a better society. Adebola, Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
And for some business news, here is Chiazalam Ekiye with the details.
Well, it's glad to have you join us on this segment. The federal government has said that plans have been concluded to launch its economic recovery roadmap in February. Vice President Yemi Oshibajo was speaking on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. The Vice President disclosed that massive investments in the people and their skills will bring about economic prosperity for the country. This is contained in a statement by his media aide, Laolu Akonde. And latest data from the Central Bank of Nigeria has revealed that the country's external reserves have been increasing significantly and has risen to $27.3 billion on January 17th from $26.9 billion. The central bank data revealed that reserves within 11 days rose by $1 billion. And Nigerians, especially women, have cut down on so many things since the emergence of recession, but are not skipping visits to their hair salon. This is no doubt indicative that hair care is one of the few businesses with great potential. This was revealed when NTA Business News sought to know if the beauty industry will make the first on the chopping board during recession.
I want to look beautiful for my husband. It's really huge, 3,000.
The patronage has been encouraging. People have been coming to patronize us, to buy wigs, to buy weaves. They do come to do pedicure as well.
Well, your guess is as good as mine. That's the package at this time. I am Chiazalam Ekiye. The news continues. Don't go away.
And now sports. Nigeria's Odunayo Adekunle makes history